Alright, what's cracking, everybody? Now, today I wanna mix things up a bit. See, I'm not just gonna be an anime channel, I'm not just gonna be this or that. I'm gonna like mix it up, continue to do like various things, I'm gonna like mainly just do whatever, So yeah, slight detour, but yeah, today we're gonna be talking about something that many anime people may not know about. You know what? Let me put you on game. Because just because it's not anime doesn't mean it's not any good. Because this is, at least to me. Alright, today we're talking about Shameless, more specifically the newer version, the one that was airing from 2011 to 2021. Basically, so yeah, now, see, what is the show about, you may be asking? Well, today we're going to keep it nice and simple. Alright, so what's the show about is basically a group of dysfunctional family members, more specifically how the dad, Frank Gallagher, is a terrible father in more ways than one. Well, at least he's there, or at least kinda there for the kids' lives. He's not a deadbeat. He's not like Gon's dad. So he's not that type of terrible. He's still terrible in many other ways. Now he's what you would call a bum. Like he does not get a job. If he does get a job, it doesn't last. He's basically a leech. He's the type of dude who fakes injuries just to get disability. You know what I mean? Like the only reason why he's not a homeless bum is because he leeches off of anybody and everybody he can. Now, you may be asking, okay, so he's the dad, so what are the kids doing? Well, there's a lot of them, so let's keep it tracking one by one. First is, next up we have Fiona Gallagher. Now, Fiona Gallagher is basically the actual breadwinner of the family, but she's not the mom. See, she's the eldest sister. See, basically, the dad is a borderline alcoholic loser, while the mom is just not there. Well, she tries to be there and she tries to be a good mom, but she's just not mentally or, fit to be a mother. You know what I mean? So, that's where Fiona Gallagher steps in. She had to step up and basically be the closest thing to a mother these kids really had. And she basically had to just keep hustling and making that bread like 24/7, Now that's her, but what about the others? Well, there's also Carl Gallagher. Carl Gallagher is the second to youngest son of the Gallaghers. Told you this family was big. Now, Cole goes through a lot, but if you want the basic definition, well, at first he an interesting thing about this show is that it takes place IRL in real time. They reference real life things, like during the last season they referenced the pandemic and stuff like that. So yeah, Carl starts off as this young little psychopath, but then he actually starts to grow up in, well, maybe not real time, but like in universe time, as like time progresses in real life. So he, starts to want to do something with his life. He wants to start to give back to the community. Now, I can't exactly spoil what he wants to do from there because, well, I don't want to spoil anything for the show. I'm basically trying to keep it to season 1 or 2, I'm trying to keep as little detail of it as possible. You feel me? Now, then there's Ian Gallagher. Now, Ian Gallagher goes through a lot in the series, but all you need to know for now is that during the first couple seasons, Fiona is still the oldest, so she's the only one who has a job and doesn't have to worry about anything else aside from the adult struggles. While Ian and another Gallagher we're gonna get to later are actually currently in high school, or was currently in high school throughout the first few seasons. Now, there's a big twist about Ian Gallagher, and it's an important part of his character, so I might as well just say it now. See, there's this girl who likes Ian, so when they're hanging out, she tries to, well, top him off in more ways than one. But it actually turns out that Ian has no feeling for this girl because, well, he's gay. Yep, that's right. Basically, throughout the series, it was revealed pretty quickly that Ian, just happens to be gay. So, some parts of his character and some character arcs kind of relates to that. And he has a boyfriend. Well, boyfriend's kind of a strong word, but basically he has a significant other, right? Or at least somebody that they love each other, They go through their struggles, but they've always had feelings for each other to some degree. And that's just kind of how he is. Also, there's another big twist about him, but you should watch the show for yourself. Now, moving on, there is another one, Flip Gallagher. Now, as you can see, Flip Gallagher is, the second oldest of the, male Gallaghers. Now, Flip Gallagher is different from Ian. See, while there's more to him to being just gay, he also wants to, be patriotic and, protect his country. So, there's that in him. But Flip, he doesn't really have a noble aspiration for what he wants to do like Ian or Carl Gallagher. Flip is what you would call a hustler, a bag chaser. He's the type of sneaky guy to try and finesse a vending machine, But he's not just street smart, he's actually smart. He can make good grades. If he just focuses up and, just puts on the books, then he can actually make something of his life in a couple of years, He has genuine talent for stuff like robotics. He has a genuine interest in that type of stuff. But the sad thing is, he is a self-destructive dude, and he just really fumbles his own opportunities. He's his biggest op. He gets his own way too much, and that's just kind of what it is. It's sad, but it's true. And he has to learn to, be a better person and be a better man. Now we gotta talk about another one. Now, next up is Liam Gallagher. Now, if you're gonna know one thing about Liam Gallagher, it's that, he's an African American. He's a black guy. He's a brother. Now, it turns out that apparently, Frank Gallagher, is actually the biological father. He's not adopted, which is crazy because, the mom, who's the birth mother of pretty much every other Gallagher, also happens to be white. So, yeah, that's gonna be they never fully explain it, but it's pretty obvious what most likely happened. Now, Liam Gallagher, see, he starts out as, a baby, so, he doesn't really have a character. But, like I said earlier, he grows up, and to keep spoilers to a minimum, all I'll say is this. He's a guy who, wants to connect with his culture, He wants to connect to being a brother, you know what I mean? So, as he gets older, he wants to start being a part of the black culture. And, that's just a part of who he is. Now, moving on to another one. Alright, next up is Debbie Gallagher. Now, Debbie Gallagher starts off as, a little girl, but again, throughout the series, she grows into her own. She grows into a teen. And, she deals with very, maybe not common, but, unfortunate struggles of being, a teenage girl, And then, throughout the series, as she gets older, she starts to, act all big and bad. Try to act, rebellious, like most teenagers do, And she unfortunately makes some decisions that puts a couple strains on, her future. But that's enough about her for now. Moving on to... Now, these next two characters aren't necessarily part of the Gallagher family, but they're still important characters that show up in pretty much every single episode at some point. Kevin Ball and his wife, who we'll get to in a sec, are, really good family friends. They don't necessarily mess with the father or the mom, but they're good friends of the oldest sister, who we talked about earlier. Kevin Ball is a barkeep. He, maintains a bar. And since Frank is a pathetic alcoholic, he sees him on a pretty much daily basis. And, they show some pity on him, I guess. But they still charge him a lot. But they still charge him money, and they don't let him keep a tab up because they know he's not going to pay for it. But that's besides the point. Kevin Ball is a hard-working guy who, is a family man who he wants to have, daughters in the future, He really loves his wife. And speaking of his wife, we'll get to her right now. Then there's Veronica Fisher, the wife of Kevin Ball. See, Veronica Fisher is like the best friend of the oldest sister. And, she, cares about, all of the, little kids, She, basically, if all of the oldest are away for whatever reason, she'd be the type of homegirl to watch the babies and the really young kids while they're away, or at least she would be willing to do that. She cares about her friends and her family a lot, and that's just who she is. Now, those were all the major characters. There's a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean a lot of other characters. And yeah, we haven't talked about the mom, but the mom comes in later, and I feel like, and they make it a big, reveal, so I'm not gonna ruin or spoil that, so we're gonna move on. Now, this is a live-action series, not an anime, so there's no animation for me to critique, so I guess the equivalent would be, the lighting, the cinematography, stuff like that, right? So yeah, the sets look really good. The lighting's pretty solid. There's a lot of, I don't think it does anything revolutionary or too special, but it's really solid, And they also convey the passage of time through, seasons. And I'm not talking like seasons TV show. I'm talking about like the elemental seasons. For example, the first season takes place in the snow, while the second season and some of the other ones take place during the summer or spring or whatever, The show really likes to convey time, and that's really one of the other positives. So yeah, that's basically the core premise, and some of the plot lines of the character arcs I talked about earlier. And you know what? It's a really good series. It's a long series though. There's 10 seasons or possibly more. To my knowledge, it's 10. So yeah, there's a lot for you to cover. A lot of episodes. I'm talking I wouldn't be surprised if it reached almost 2, 3, or even 400, possibly even close to 500 episodes. And each of them are about double length. I'm talking 40 something minutes. It's not as bad as, say, The Boys or, the Fallout TV series, where each episode is pretty much a feature-length movie or a little bit before that. But there's a lot to watch. So, if you're younger, then I'm just gonna say this: this show is for the adults. So, if you're a kid, then you gotta screw off on this one. But if you don't care, or if you are an adult, then I give it a watch. And another warning. So I guess the perfect age range should be late teens, early 20s, if you're the type of person who's either about to graduate high school, or you're in college and you haven't gotten a job yet, or you're making sure that you're finding money through other ways, or if you have a family who supports you, yeah, you could knock this out in a week or two, maybe a couple. But if you got a job and you got things to do in your life, then this easily takes a couple months. Me personally, it took me about I want to say 2 or 3 weeks of hard binging, and that's mad tough. That's gonna take a while. So yeah, so what do I give this show? I think it's pretty good. So yeah, now thank y'all for watching. I'm not gonna tell you to like, comment, or subscribe, or no cringy stuff like that, because I fundamentally don't believe in that cringe. If you like my content, you'll watch it. If you hate my content, then I guess watch it if you want, but I don't get why you would. Now anyway, see you guys later.